I just talked about that time. We spend a lot of time together, a whole lot of time. And to be able to be efficient and be great at what you do, to be able to accomplish as much as you can in a short period of time is critical. And I think all these guys that are here really possess that. And then finally, it's about being a great teacher. I mean, we have to be a great teacher. I mean, that's what we do in essence. We get up in front of the guys and we teach them about the game of football, the game that we all love. And to kind of get that passion to them. It's not just about showing them a play or showing them a defensive scheme or a special teams concept. It's about making them love it. And I think that's something that, for me personally, that's what I was looking for all these guys that are here and the coordinators, everybody. And with that, you can build that foundation. You can create such a great thing because, it's about creating a synergy, having guys that can come together and be greater than the sum of their parts. And that's what I think we've created up to this point, is a bunch of guys that can sit in a room for long, long hours, have a little fun, game plan, get the best schemes possible, but motivate, inspire, and build great relationships with all these players. So I'm so excited to be with all these guys. I want to thank George Payton and Joe Ellis. So important, they gave us a lot of resources to be able to bring all these guys in, talk with a lot, because we met with a lot of great coaches. And to be able to develop these relationships that I've had with these guys in a short period of time has been great, and it's been allowed because of them. So I'm very grateful for them to allow me to bring in a lot of people, because it was a process, a slow process, but very excited for all these guys, and very excited to introduce you guys to everybody. We'll start with the coordinators. We've got right here Justin Outten. We've been together for 3 years at Green Bay. Before that, he was at Atlanta. And we had a great time sitting in those rooms and game planning at Green Bay together. And what he has done for me, what he has done for the past organizations has been awesome. I mean, just the offensive line experience, the tight end experience he brings to the table. His organization, his efficiency has been absolutely incredible for me, and I'm so excited to continue to work with him. Love him and his family. All of us are very much family guys, and I think that's so important, and it's one reason why I love him so much. And then these other two guys on the right, they had to go ahead and win a darn Super Bowl. So congratulations to those guys. Those guys, we actually have another one we'll introduce here in a second, but both these guys, I've known them for a long time. We were all together at Tampa back in, 06, 07, something like that. 07. Yeah, a while ago. And heck, Dwayne Stooks and I, we shared an office together and loved every second of it. Evero, I've known for so long. He's been working as a defensive backs coach and pass game coordinator at the Rams, did an amazing job with that back end. He's been with some great coordinators. We're talking Dom Capers. He worked with Dom for a while. He worked with Vic Fangio. He worked with Wade Phillips, worked with Monty Kiffin. So he's got a great lineage. Played at the great UC Davis, too, which is really cool. Dwayne Stooks, Rich Bisaccia, Joe DiCamillis, two of the premier special teams coaches. But to watch Dwayne and him become his own special teams coordinator, he actually had that role for 2 years at Tampa, but to see him kind of become a great combination of those two guys, I'm just grateful that all three of these guys are here with me at this table. So very grateful to have all of them, and we just got to be sure we get, run it back again, you two over there.
I love it.
So now go to the coaches. We got some coaches. We'll just kind of go in order here. We got Marcus Dixon. He'll be working with the defensive line. Give him a little love. He got a Super Bowl, too. Yeah. Very excited about that. Awesome. Again, that was the reason why this has taken so long. One of the reasons why it's taken so long, because of those guys. We got A.C. Carter. He'll be his assistant right there, right next to him. And we got DeAndre Thompson. He's right there. You can see him. He'll be working with the DBs. He'll be an intern. We got Ramon Chin-Young. He's right there. He'll be working with the offensive line, drawing a lot of the runs and stuff like that. We got John Vieira behind him, the instructional designer. Yeah, I know. A lot of people are going, what the heck is that? You will slowly learn as we move forward. We got Peter Hansen. He'll be with the inside linebackers. Bert Watts. He'll be working with the outside linebackers. We got Mateo Cambui. He'll be working with the tight ends. We got Ben Steele. He'll be working with the assistant offensive line. We got Clint Kubiak, a name that's been around here for a long time. He was the pass coordinator, quarterbacks coach. And I'll tell you, that Minnesota offense they did, we had to get that into this building also. So very happy to have him. We got Zach Azani. He's been here for a long time. A lot of juice right there. Very excited to work with him. He's been here for a while, and so he can kind of fill us in on everything that's been going on. We got Derek Haithcock. He'll be the assistant to the head coach. He's the one that kind of helps me with every single thing that I do every day. We got Dom Capers. Everybody knows Dom. He fills enough experience for everybody in this room. He's been here been around for a long time. We are so grateful, especially myself, for a guy that's been a head coach, 2 different teams. It's invaluable, his experience that he brings to me. We got Tyrone the Train Wheatley. He's right there on the far left, working with the running backs. Tyrone and I have been together for a long time. Enjoyed every second of it with him, and he was actually at Tampa with us too, with those guys earlier. So it's been awesome, kind of our voyage together to get here with you guys at Denver. We got Ola Adams. He'll be the assistant DB coach. Very excited to have Ola. We got CP, Christian Parker. He's back. Was with him at Green Bay for 2 years. Very excited to have him here. Mike Mallory, the legend. He was with me at Jacksonville for a couple years. Very happy to have him. We got Jake Moreland. Jake Moreland we got from the Jets. I've known him for a long time also, all the way back to my Syracuse days. And then Butch Berry, who'll be the offensive line coach, was with him at Green Bay. So a lot of great men. Very excited to have them here. Excited for all of you guys to get to meet them, guys and ladies, to be able to meet these guys. They're all wonderful men that have a lot to offer. So with that, we'll leave you with the coordinators, and they get to answer questions now. Very excited to see what happens.
Thanks very much, Coach. Before we open it up for questions, each coordinator will have an opening remark, and as our coaching staff gets to know everyone, please state your name and affiliation before asking a question. We'll start with you, Justin.
Hi, guys. How you doing? I just want to say that I'm very appreciative for the Green Bay organization. When I was there working with Matt, Goody, and Mark, I built a lot of relationships in that organization, and I'm very grateful for those guys. Coming to this organization, very passionate organization. You can see the fan base and how excited they are. Working with George and Joe and being under the leadership of Coach Hackett, very exciting opportunities for us to grow as men, not only as coaches, but as men. Offensively, we're looking for 11 men to step foot on that field, to put their pride aside and their egos aside, and play as one. For this system to run the way it should be, everyone has to just dedicate their time and effort into the good of the team. And everyone has a responsibility, no matter if they're a starter or a backup, to uphold that standard offensively. The ball is everything, and you're going to hear that over and over again. When you win the turnover battle, +1, you're 72% win percentage, and then if you're +2, it goes up to 82%. So that ball is everything in this offense. So we're going to make it look very complex to the defense, but keep it simple for our guys so they can play fast. And the goal is to identify each guy's talents and make them come to life on Sundays. So that's my part. Pass it over.
Awesome. Couldn't be more excited to be here with you guys and be here with this organization. Talk about first class in every manner. Not just being here and experiencing and feeling these last couple of days, but just hearing over the years, this organization, this city is just such a standard in the NFL, and couldn't be more excited to be here. At the end of the day, we're here to win a championship, and that's the goal. We're going to fight to get that done, and we're not going to settle for anything less. And my part, along with all the defensive coaches, is to bring a championship-level defense, and we're going to strive every day and every moment to get that done.
That's it? That's it. All right. So just to echo what Evero said, I'm very excited to be here also. This is a great opportunity to be around guys that I've worked with like Evero, Marcus Dixon, Mal, Nate. I'm confident in the abilities that they bring to the table as well as myself. As far as special teams, we want to have an attack mentality. We want to play fast. We want to be physical. And we want to dictate to our opponents the tempo of the game. That's our goal. Other than that, we want to capitalize on the return ops we get to give the offense the best field position possible. And then on the cover units, we want to give the defense the long field. That's our objective. That's our goal. And myself and Mal, we're in the process of identifying players that we think can contribute on special teams and play at a high level. And that's what we're looking for. And once again, I'm very excited, and I can't wait to get started. And like Evero said, we want to win a championship. We have the talent to do so. We have the coaches to do so. We have the leadership to do so. Now, we can't just talk about it. We got to put it in practice, right? We got to do it. And I'm excited to get working.
Hey, it's Arnie Stapleton with Associated Press. I have a question for Evero. I know you've had a lot of mentors, guys like Vic Fangio and others that kind of shaped your career. I'm wondering if you could speak a little bit to that, and also what Nathaniel has meant to you. I know you guys go way back to college, and what he's meant to you kind of in your career in the NFL.
Yeah, so first starting with the coordinators I've been under. So I got into, I'm actually going to start at UC Davis. My position coach and our defensive coordinator there, Lou Bronson, who's meant so much to me and who really got me started in terms of understanding the game, and then transitioning to Tampa Bay with Monty Kiffin, and then to San Fran with Vic Fangio, San Fran again with Eric Mangini, in Green Bay with Dom Capers, Wade Phillips, obviously you guys all know, and then Raheem Morris and Brandon Staley most recently. But you know, the great thing about it is it's exposed me to so much in terms of so many different schemes, so many different identities. It makes you realize there's a lot of different ways to get it done. The biggest thing is that about all those guys, that the reasons that they had success is that they were great teachers. They had an identity, they stuck to that identity, and they got the players to buy into it, okay? And that's the biggest thing that we want to get done. And that's what we're going to get done here as well. The one thing that I do realize as well, it's not just about me, it's about the entire defensive staff, right? Starting with the D-line coach, Marcus Dixon, Burt Watts, Peter Hansen, CP, Ola, Coach Capers, all of these guys are going to help us get this done, okay? And also AC and Dre, don't let me forget you guys as well. But it's a collaboration. It's just not one guy doing it, getting it done. And this collaboration is going to also lead with the players as well. Coaches, players collaborating to make a final product that is championship worthy. And then going back to Nathaniel, he means so much to me personally, me and my family, the friendship that we've had. And it's a brotherly relationship where it's not just one thing that I've learned over the years is that people that truly love you, they tell you more so than telling you what you want to hear, they tell you what you need to hear. And there ain't nobody better than that than Nathaniel. So he's just been a great sounding board over the years. If you remove our relationship aside, I just think the world of this guy as a coach and as a leader. This whole city and this whole organization should be excited about him.
Eric Delisle at DenverBroncos.com. For Justin, what was it about Coach Hackett that made you want to follow him here to Denver? And then secondly, in Green Bay, it sounds like it was a very collaborative process on offense. What do you expect your role to be? Are there certain focus areas you think you'll specialize in during the week and on game day?
Working with Coach Hackett the last 3 years, his commitment to each and every guy on that staff, even if it was across the ball, he was really big into developing guys, making them the best version of themselves. And that's not going to be any different when we come here. Anywhere from the quality control all the way up to, his position, he was making sure that everyone had enough resources and enough questions answered to be the best version, so they were able to grow in the spot that they're in. And, the respect factor that I have for him, anyone in life, anyone in this room, anyone that invests time in you as a person, you look up to them and you want to do the best for them. You want to make them proud. And in a sense, when I got the opportunity to come here, it was without a question a yes, just because as much as he poured into me, now I'm going to pour it back into him and this staff, and really excited to work hand in hand with him again for year 4 and see where this offense can go. As far as just specializing in anything, it's a collaborative effort. It was that way in Green Bay, and we got the best out of it. A lot of people had ideas, and it basically came down to a fit for that week and not being too complex. You just don't want to pull everything out of the playbook. It's very easy to do that, but making sure everyone's on the same page and agreeing with the game plan as they go through the week. But as far as me, just overlooking everything, as far as the run game, the protections, and the pass game, coming up with, Coach Hackett and I did this last year in a collaborative effort, going through everything and combing things and make it all look the same throughout the whole process. And we connected last year more than we ever had. And, we had the same ideas pop up on our sheets, and we giggle about it because it was like he was in my mind and I was in his mind. But just being in every phase moving forward here is what I'm going to be looking forward to.
This is
Troy Wright from Denver 7. This is for Coach Evero and Coach Stooks. Coach Evero, what would you want the identity to be of your defense? And then for Coach Stooks, how do you measure special team success? Is it staying neutral just to make sure, because we really haven't seen that here in the last 5-6 years, or is it, how do you measure your success for special teams? And do you guys like swig Red Bull or coffee to stay with Coach Hackett's energy? How does that work?
Well, starting with the energy, I'm not even going to try to keep up with that. So we all got to be our own self. But when you talk about our energy, talk about our philosophy on defense, we want to play with great energy. I want, when people put our tape on, I want them to see a defense that's playing fast, that's playing aggressive, that's playing physical. We're flying around to the ball. I think just like Coach Outten said, the biggest thing in football is the ball, and then we've got to be attacking the ball, and that's going to be a big point of our emphasis. And then, we want to be situational masters, right? There's going to be all these situations, third down, red zone, 2-minute. Like, we want to own and dominate those situations. It's not just the coaches that are situational masters, but more so important are the players. So we're talking about playing with great energy and great physicality. We're talking about being about the ball, and we're talking about playing with situational awareness.
And for me, Troy, it's about consistency, right? It's easy to make splash plays on all phases, but you want guys that can play at a consistent level, and we expect those guys to play at a high level, not just the field 11 guys. That's not what we're trying to do. We're trying to raise the standard and build a culture around here where guys are excited to take part in special teams. It's a we, not me mentality, right? In order for us to get where we want to get to, everybody has to buy in and play special teams, regardless of their role on the team. It might be a guy that plays one phase, but obviously the more talented guys we have on the field, the better we'll be on special teams, if that answers your question.
Yeah, Mike Kliss with 9 News. Coach Outten, first of all, Aaron Rodgers didn't make his decision today. I don't know if you know that. How much interaction did you have with the quarterbacks as a tight end coach with the Packers? And do you think that's going to be a big step for you as offensive coordinators, that you do have to start working with the quarterbacks on an intimate basis?
The way the quarterbacks and just the skill positions in general, they work hand in hand. I mean, they're in the same install room throughout practice. There's constant communication. It's just how they see it and different tweaks that you can do to the route game to make it all fit and conform. As far as this offseason, really diving into the quarterback room is one of my top priorities, and just getting in to the nuts and bolts of everything, with my background being so O-line, run game heavy and protection, and then stepping into the tight end position 3 years ago, learning the pass game and how it all fit. It started to open up a lot of doors for me and kind of see the big picture, which was exciting. So year 3 with Coach Hackett, like I mentioned before, you get to see what the quarterback's seeing. You can see the coverage beaters throughout the week and how you can take advantage of that. And then in-game adjustments, like you'll throw in a concept that we worked weeks before, and it's been in every game plan, but it wasn't up that week. And you come on the sideline and say, this is something we want to intermix the next series, and we're all on the same page. So the constant communication, I mean, the quarterback is the leader, the guy that is the center stage for just standing on that platform, and he's got his hands in everything. And tight end is an extension of that, just because of the situation and protection, the run game, and running pass concepts. You're involved in everything. So those guys are stretched thin mentally when it comes to each game week. So you almost have to play it just like the quarterback when it comes to just the overall aspect of the offense.
Nick Kosmider with The Athletic. Justin, you spent 8 seasons as a high school football coach in the Houston area. I'm just curious what that background kind of taught you, a little bit unique in terms of NFL coaches. What did you gain from that? And the second part of my question is, given your expertise the last 3 years with tight ends, what do you think of that group on this roster and its potential?
Being a high school coach was probably the best decision I ever made as far as going down to a lower level. I was a graduate assistant at Syracuse, and I knew I wanted to teach and coach. The responsibilities you take on as a teacher, separate from being a coach, is just the organizational skills, the making sure that everyone's on the same page. You get to see the different learning styles throughout that classroom. I was specifically working in the special ed department, so I was dealing with a wide variety of different learning styles. And when you get to the football aspect of it, you're now taking those kids that could be easily doing anything in life, but they decided to dedicate their time and effort into football. So, at that high school itself, it was a free or reduced lunch situation. There's a lot of guys that didn't have anywhere to lay their head most of the nights. So I learned a lot from those kids. I actually learned more from them than they probably learned from me. You're not only a coach, you're a mentor, you're a father figure, you're an educator. You're always dealing with a ton of different gymnastics throughout the entire day, and that's what I loved about it. No day was ever the same. And you got to find ways to get things done. You got to make sure they're getting to practice. You got to make sure they're eating breakfast and lunch and dinner. Those are the things that you really don't see on the outside world until you're immersed in it. And it really prepared me organizationally and finding creative ways for guys to learn and keep it interesting. That attention span at that age, there's a lot of social media and a lot of things on their mind. So you got to find ways to connect with those kids, and I thought it was very beneficial. As far as the tight end room here, it's going to go through, and I'm sure there's going to be questions about different positions itself. As a true evaluation right now, you're seeing what they ran last year and what scheme they were running. The evaluations are going to really occur when we start meeting with these guys. It's going to start in the room. They're always going to be evaluated in the room, how they're learning, how they're answering questions, what they're doing outside the building to make themselves better, and then it's going to carry over to individual, team periods, and then eventually going into the game. So that evaluation period right now with those guys is a shell, and we're trying to get in the nuts and bolts in it, moving towards the OTAs.
Zach Stevens from DNVR. Welcome to Denver. Congratulations to the three of you. Coach Evero, what defensive scheme are you going to run, and schematically, what's your defense going to look like?
Well, we'll be 3-4 in our base defense. We'll play a variety of sub packages. There'll be a lot of carryover from what these guys did last year. But at the end of the day, Coach Outten was just talking about the evaluation. You got to start with the evaluation of your players. You got to see who's in your roster. You got to see what they do well. And then the scheme has got to fit your players, and you can't go the other way around with that. So, but there'll be a lot of carryover, and I think the players will be familiar with a lot of what we're going to present to them. But we're going to always start player first and then move into the scheme.
Kyle Newman, Denver Post here. Coach Stooks mentioned trying to change the culture on special teams. When you assess the Broncos special teams the last couple of years, what specifically needs to change, and especially in terms of those coverage units that ranked towards the bottom of the league?
So I'm not here to critique the scheme from last year. That's not my job. My job is to get the guys this year to play at a high level. Obviously, we saw that we were ranked last in kickoff return and last in kickoff, so that'll be an emphasis going forward, right? And there's certain techniques and fundamentals that myself and Coach Mallory will teach these guys that hopefully put them in position to make plays consistently. That's all I ask for. I don't want to talk about what happened last year as far as that, because I don't really know their scheme that they ran. All I can talk about is the scheme that we're going to run and how excited I am to work with the guys. I think we have a lot of talent on this roster. I think we have core special teams players on this roster. I think we have guys that can help and play at a high level on this roster. So I'm excited to work with the guys that we have in the building. And the culture will change as guys get familiar with the scheme. Once guys start buying in and they see the success of the scheme, that's when you get the buy-in.
Coach Evero and Coach Stooks, you guys just won a championship. What did you learn about what that takes, and maybe what you need to convey to players that haven't had a winning season here in a few years?
Yeah, the biggest thing I took away from this last season is probably one, you got to have good players, and the players have got to be committed to winning. But the biggest thing is that you got 17 games, you got off-season program, you got training camp, you've got hopefully the postseason. There's going to be highs, there's going to be lows, and it's really about staying the course, and it's about developing a process that you believe works and sticking to it. And more than likely, you're not going to win all your games. There's going to be losses. There's going to be adversity. And the one thing we learned is that, as you go through it, there's going to be a lot of challenges to your character and your approach and your process. And you got to put the blinders on. You got to have belief in what you're doing, and you got to stay the course. And if your process is right, which I believe it's going to be here, and the people are right, and you stay the course, you're going to have the results you want.
Yeah, similar to Evero, but other thing I would say is you have to have fun while you're doing it, right? This is a job, but I mean, we're all blessed to be here, in my opinion. It's football at the end of the day. It's about teaching, tackling, blocking, etc. And what I learned from my experience in LA is we bonded together, not only as a coaching staff, but the players actually enjoyed being around each other. There was really no rift within that locker room. Guys hung out outside of it, which I think is important. Coaches did things outside of football, which I think is important because you get to know people and how they are outside of football. It's not just football. Football is very important to us, and we're passionate about it. But to gauge and get to know someone, you got to actually spend time with that person, and that's what we did last year. A lot of guys spent time with each other. We built a culture over there where guys love to win, and like Coach said, we went through adversity, but we never blinked, right? We never thought that we were out of it. We never thought that we couldn't win a championship. You have to have guys believe they can win. You have to have guys buy in to winning a championship, and then that's how you change the culture and you eventually get the results that you want.
Hey guys, Brandon Cristal from KOA Radio. I've got one for you, Coach Evero, and one for you, Coach Stooks. Keith Khalid said you were really involved in LA in the scheming, and then he wrote vanity that I won't add. But said, you know, that it was real collaborative, and you did a lot more than maybe other secondary coaches might have, passing game coordinators. Is that story your plan, Justin, kind of talk about being collaborative, involving all your coaches to help come up with your plan every week?
Yeah, absolutely. It's not just about the coordinator's vision. It's about the entire defensive staff's vision, along with the players. And I think the biggest thing that we got to all realize is that, like, obviously, I'm going to have some ideas, but like, you know, Coach Watts is going to have ideas. Coach Hanson's going to have ideas. CP's going to have ideas. Coach Capers obviously is going to have ideas. He's been doing it longer than everybody, as Nathaniel likes to continuously point out. But there's a lot of great coaches and a lot of great ideas, and you know, when you start having the right people around you too, in terms of the players, a lot of these players are so smart and they're going to give you a lot of good ideas. And so, you know, you just can't. You got to have humility. That's a big thing that we've all talked about. It doesn't matter where the idea comes from. We just got to move forward with whatever the best idea is, and that's going to give us success. So, look forward to everybody's input, and it's always going to be a collaborative approach with me.
And then Dwayne, Coach D. Camillus told me that he recommended you to Coach Hackett, although y'all know each other, a year ago when Coach was interviewing. So what has he meant to you, and what has he told you about Denver? And then also, is it any more special winning as a player or coach, or is it about the same?
The first part of it is Joe D is a mentor to me. I have a lot of respect and love for Joe D. I played for him in Atlanta for a cup of coffee, right? He cut me, so we joke about it all the time. Like, you know, he jokes about it, really. I don't really. It wasn't funny being cut. But he's taught me a lot about football. He's taught me about strategy. He's taught me about analytics. He's taught me about just game management, like things that my first time as a coordinator I didn't really consider or think about. Yeah, you think about it, but to actually have a guy who has 33 years of experience to lean on has been beneficial for my career. And can you repeat your second question? Sorry.
Is it any more special when he's a coach or player?
I can't beat this experience that I just had until we win here. I mean, it was, to put it in words is hard. I mean, like, see the confetti come down, to know you're a world champion and nobody can take that away from you. I mean, that's amazing, and hopefully we can duplicate that here.
Hey guys, how you doing? George Stoya with the Colorado Springs and Denver Gazette. I have a question for all three of you guys. We've heard a lot about Nathaniel's charismatic personality, and we've gotten to talk to him. I'm wondering how you guys would describe his personality and coaching style. And then secondly, you guys take me through when you guys got the phone call from him or from somebody saying, hey, we want you to come coach for the Broncos.
Coach Hackett is one of a kind when it comes to just, like, I love taking just football out of it because a big piece of it is connecting with people. And no matter what background, where you're from, just finding a way to connect with people, whether it's a common interest or conversation. And in he loves movies. And so, like, he connects with a lot of movie guys. I don't watch films or TV, period, so we connect on a different level. But, like, the way he goes about his business, and he's able to, first of all, he's a master organizer. I've never seen somebody more organized than him. He takes pride in it, And the efficiency that comes out of it is unbelievable. It's just, there's no wasted work. There's a purpose to everything that he does. And I try to replicate that after I saw that. And it just made me better and the guys around us better, just to see the organizational factors that come into it and the production that comes out of it. As far as getting the phone call, you know, not only for him and being with him and working with him another year, just the Bronco organization. And when you look at it from afar growing up and you see the successes that the Broncos had, like, you always want to be a part of it. And I said the same for Green Bay, because those two organizations, in my opinion, are top notch when it comes down to it. So having the ability to come here to Denver was hands down a yes when it came down to it, and I'm just excited to be a part of Denver itself and working with Coach Hackett still.
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of people know about Nathaniel's personality and, you know, outgoing connectivity and all that stuff. But I think what a lot of people are going to learn is how direct he is. He doesn't shy away from anything. He takes problems on head on, and that's probably what I appreciate most about him. He's a one of a kind in terms of that. He doesn't shy away from anything. And in terms of getting the call, I think it was the day after the Super Bowls when I got that first call.
Good answer.
Yeah, so I've known Nate since 2006, and he's been consistent ever since I met him. And the funny thing about Nate, he makes people feel uncomfortable, and he's not uncomfortable in the situation. He's not uncomfortable in the situation. There's been multiple times, and I'm not going to bring up the certain situations that we had early on. It's not. And, you know, that's what attracted me to Nate as far as a friendship, because I'm more of a to myself type person. Maybe some people call me an introvert, but he's outgoing, and he kind of broke my wall down per se, and had me, you know, sharing his office. It was really his office. I got hired late, and I used to always just go in there and hang out with him. And I learned a lot from him. I know he's a family man. I know he's passionate about football. I know he's energetic. I know he's highly intelligent, and I know he likes to have fun. He is a big kid, regardless of how he walks around here. I mean, like, his smiles, I mean, he smiles all the time. He never has a bad day, or at least I've never seen him have a bad day. And you can admire somebody like that, right? Somebody who's always coming to work and they're being consistent. That's what a leader should be, and that's what he is. And as far as getting a call, like Evero said, it was after Super Bowl, and I was excited.
Over here, Jeff Legwald from ESPN. Day after the Super Bowl, that's pretty good. Justin, this is for you, and then I have a follow for both of you.
Okay.
Justin, this team hasn't scored more than 23 points a game since 2014. When touchdowns aren't happening, in your experience, what are some of the things that need to be improved?
Well, you got to look at the rhythm of the game. You got to dissect each game and see what the issues were going into it. You always want to be efficient with, you know, methodically moving down and ending every series with a kick. That's your number one goal. And to put you can't put your finger on a certain thing or a certain concept or a certain player. It's about how all 11 are coming together and playing together. So if there's a breakdown at a certain position, and then the next play there's another breakdown in another position, you got to make sure that everyone's on the same page, whether it's schematics or rules or the personnelling. So it's about coming up with a plan to allow our guys to play fast. Now, the productivity with the touchdowns and you know, I made a joke. It wasn't a joke, but at the basketball game a couple weeks ago, we're going to score a lot of points. You know, our goal is to score points here, and that's how you win football games. And just finding ways, creative ways, especially when you get down in the red zone, to put the ball in the end zone is your number one goal. And you know, these coaches are going to work tirelessly trying to find ways to put the ball in our playmakers' hands. Our offensive line coach and, you know, Butch Berry, he's going to do a great job of finding the right schemes against that defense. We're trying to find ways for us to be productive that week. There's not going to be a lot of carryover in a sense when it doesn't match the next defense. So dissecting each and every week and making it its own little Super Bowl in a sense this is your Super Bowl Sunday. We got to make sure that we are taking pride in our preparation and giving these guys answers out there, because sometimes defenses will throw you a curveball and don't allow you to prepare for certain things like that. So you got to have answers in your back pocket, and that's the stuff that we have to develop in OTAs and this offseason and training camp, is just giving them tools so they can work with it and get around some of the issues on the field while they're out there, and then coming to the sideline and making adjustments off of that.
And then for all three of you, just the biggest difference you think professionally in being a coordinator from being a position coach?
Professionally, like, you get the title coordinator, but working with everyone across the board is what I'm excited about. Just seeing the different learning styles across the rooms, different personalities, and connecting with everyone and bringing guys together. And that's really what I'm excited about, working with every individual on the offensive staff and seeing what creative ways that they can get first downs and explosive plays, getting in their minds and what they've done in the past that might be able to fit in this system, and how they can bring something to the table and make this one of the best offenses in the National Football League. We're trying to work collaboratively and do a great job each and every week. But as far as the coordinating aspect of it, I had a great teacher. I mean, you can't ask for a better organizational guy and a better teacher and a better motivator. So I got big shoes to fill right now.
Yeah, I would say the organization part is going to be the biggest thing you get used to. But that's why, like Justin just said, Nathaniel and Coach Capers are going to be just so valuable to me, being my first time. Talk about two of the most organized and most detailed people that I know. So, that's definitely an advantage for the Broncos.
Yeah, and I've been preparing for this opportunity since 2011. Like, I knew I wanted to be a special teams coordinator again. Mike Mallory has been a special teams coordinator, so he's someone that I can lean on. And it will be a collaborative effort also with special teams. I'm just ready to go, to be honest with you. Excited.
Yeah, Coach. Evero, I'm sure the Fangio defense is something they wanted to keep because of the player roster personnel, but you also worked with Wade Phillips and Brandon Staley, Coach Capers. I'm sure they're all different styles in the 3-4. Where do you think you'll fall in as far as what you prefer? I guess I'm talking specifically about bringing pressure.
Well, you got to affect the quarterback. If you can't get there with 4, you got to bring 5. You can't get there with 5, you got to bring 6. So we'll bring pressure if we need to. That's just going to all depend on the rush. But, it's hard to say right now, like, what exactly we're going to be, because, like I've said and like everybody here has said, this is going to be a collaboration. It's going to be something that we're going to build starting today. Once we get the roster finalized and all that, then we're going to truly know what we're going to be and what our identity is going to be in terms of the coverages and the pressures and those things that we're going to run. But there's the great thing is there's a lot of good coaches. I have a big background with a bunch of different people, and so we've got a lot of things that we can fall back on and pull from, and we're going to take advantage of all of that.
Andrew Mason, DNVR. A couple of questions. First for Dwayne and Evero. You guys came from Los Angeles, obviously, and Evero, you coached Von Miller. And a few weeks ago, Von talked about a difference between Denver and LA being how consistent you guys were in your teaching. And Evero, you talked about the process. So for both of you coming from LA, how do you maintain that consistency week to week and not get caught up in the emotional highs and lows of winning and losing? And like you said, Evero, trust the process.
Well, it starts with the leadership of Nathaniel, and it goes through all of our coaches. We've got to be consistent people, like Dwayne's consistently said. The process has got to be consistent. And I think, like, when the players feel that the coaches are consistent, their teaching methods are the same, how our flow as we go through the week is the same, our approach, whether it's a high or a low, a win or a loss, is the same. We're about correcting, we're about demanding, we're about teaching. And once they feel that and see that on a consistent basis, then we're going to know how we're going to operate. But, I think the process is the biggest thing. It's like you got to develop the process, and then as the players witness it, they've got to trust that you're going to stay consistent with it. And when they trust you, then you got it.
Yeah, just to piggyback off what he said, great leadership, but not only as a coaching staff, right, the players also. I think the Aaron Donalds, the Cooper Kupps, those type of players when we were in LA. I know we're in Denver now, I get that. Those type of players were the players that held everybody else accountable. Those were the players that when things were going wrong, everybody else, I'm talking about the players, looked towards to see who was going to take over the game or to see who was going to raise the level of their play. So I think the importance of the coaching staff and the leadership of Nate is very important, but also the players in the locker room and what they bring to the table. And I'll keep saying this, they have to buy in to what we're teaching them.
And for you, Justin, you talked about Nathaniel being so organized. In terms of organization and efficiency, what were you like before being around Nathaniel, and how did you change and get better at that?
It was a lot of paper-based things. I had binders that I just kept traveling with, and then realized real quick that anything you could PDF, you could put on your laptop or your iPad. So just ways to find things a little bit quicker and faster. Excel formats, stuff like that, just allow you to function a lot faster, and it allows you to be more uniform in game planning. So you're not having to go out of your way and find what game was that we ran it, and what formation do we use. When it comes to self-scout, just making sure, like he does a great job of making sure our self-scout matches up each week, and we could see exactly what we're doing each and every week in a 3-week period. And what can we do off of that and make things look the same but play out differently. So I thank him, and my wife thanks him for teaching us the ways of notability and Excel and all those good things, and we got rid of all the binders.
Darren McKee from 104.3 The Fan. I got a couple questions. First, Coach Outten, what does your ideal quarterback room look like, and specifically, what do you think of Drew Lock?
The quarterback position is the leader of this organization, in a sense. Like, they're the guy that you have to lean on. It doesn't matter if you're on offense or defense or special teams. As far as the quarterback room itself, it's got to be a supportive, basically a group. You're working together. Being with Matt Ryan in Atlanta and having Matt Schaub as his counterpart, they would test each other every single day. Now, Matt Schaub knew that was his responsibility to make sure Matt Ryan was right each and every day of practice. Like, it was just a collaborative situation, just like no different than the coaching style right now. Like getting in the quarterback room with Aaron and his counterparts in there, they were keeping each other accountable, making sure things were light, during the middle of the season, and keeping each other fresh. But it was also a collaborative situation where they would shoot ideas off each other. And I think that's really important. It's not just, this guy's getting more reps than I am, so I'm just going to pout and do this. And it should be, how can we make each other better? And, having competitions within practice. They'll take 5 minutes and throw a ball in a net 50 yards away. Like, keeping it competitive and having one up on each other, like, that's the fun part of being in any room, is the competitive nature, while still being able to work together for the common good of the team, which is exciting. As far as Drew, he's got a powerful arm. He's done a really good job as far as using his legs and being an athlete. As far as that, I want to see how he fits in this system a little bit more once he gets the playbook under him, and then we'll go from there.
And a general one for all three of you. When things go poorly, philosophically, what do you think is the most efficient method to clean things up and not make the same mistakes again and again?
Well, I think accountability and putting it, showing them the day after a game, Mondays. These are your mental errors. These are the things you need to work on. This is what happened. Making them accountable and seeing it on the screen makes you think, twice about doing it again. You know what I mean? And then having that competitive nature of, this isn't going to happen twice. And somebody told me way back in the day, never make the same mistake twice. And if you live by that rule, then obviously you're going to start to stack better days and better reps. But just holding those guys accountable and making sure that they're on the same page and working together.
Yeah, I think it's really important that you have a, first of all, we're going to always coach from a positive tone, but be very demanding starting day one. And I think when you set that standard, and the players know that you're not demeaning, but you're trying to correct and you're trying to teach, and you're going to be demanding every day, then when you have adversity, it's no different. You're just following your normal routine and normal process, hey, we're about correcting, we're about teaching, we're about demanding, and that's just how we operate.
Yeah, and for me, I think it's important to build relationships with the players. I think they accept your coaching better when you build a relationship with them instead of, just treating them as an object or whatever the case may be. I think the foundation of your relationship allows you to coach players harder and make those adjustments that you need to make.
Thank you.